The sedan has taken, well, a back seat in terms of popularity, given the rise of much taller vehicles, pun intended, like crossovers and SUVs. But there are people out there that will still prefer to purchase a sedan, and not only because they're more affordable, but really they handle better, they're generally more fuel efficient, and in some cases they're actually even more comfortable than crossovers. You've got the likes of the Honda City, the Toyota Vios, the MG5. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the 2022 Nissan Almera, and it's got one very huge difference from the competition. Well, actually, a fuel efficient difference. Do you need help purchasing your car insurance? Head on over to AutoDeal.com.ph/car-insurance. Here, you can compare prices and customize your insurance coverage from many of the Philippines' top providers. When you've selected the insurance that's best for you, simply fill out the application and complete the transaction with ease through Visa, MasterCard, GCash, GrabPay, or PayPal, and receive your policy within the next business day. Get the best deal on insurance with AutoDeal. The overall look of the new Nissan Almera brings it up to speed with the rest of Nissan's lineup. It's both elegant and aggressive at the same time. The headlights are LED with DRLs, making for a sharp appearance at night. There are also fog lamps down here, along with this metallic accent down below. This bit above the fog lamp, I've never seen this texture on an automobile before. It's like an optical illusion that makes the car look, well, at this angle at least, a little bit taller. Or it's like the optical illusion that you find online if you want to pass 3 hours away. Boo. Then also there's the emblem. It's dark, surrounded by black piano plastic. But the emblem itself is so dark, it looks like its future is so bright that it's gotta wear shades. That's Timbuktu. This VLN Sport stands on 16-inch alloys unique to this variant. It's got discs up front and drum at the rear, and has 135 millimeters of ground clearance, which is decent for a sedan of this size. Down the side, you have repeaters on the side mirrors and cameras as part of the around view monitor, but we'll get to that a little bit later. What I would like to mention that I like is that this color tone is the same as found on the chin spoiler up front and at the rear. It just adds a little bit of spice to it, which I like. I don't mean to backtrack, and I know we already mentioned the 16-inch wheels, but I just wanted to get that the wheels actually look better when you're looking at the car from up front. At the rear, it kinda is a bit lacking. Now, it could just be me, or I could need new glasses, or it's really just as unpredictable as this weather, to tell you the truth. When you get onto the back and open her up, you are looking at over 470 liters of very usable space. It's massive considering the size of the automobile. And plus, the rear seats fold, so the space that you have back there is probably good enough to even fit the crate of a large musical instrument. Think about it. Underneath, you've got a space-saving tire, which saves you space and weight. That's kind of redundant. Okay, the rear actually is what I want to go on about for just a little bit. See, the lights absolutely work for me. The textures found down here mimic those up front, and that works for me too. It's the size of the rear bumper that I'm kind of off about, but it works. Hear me out. When you look at the automobile, there's no other way to describe it from the rear other than being cuadrado. Now, cuadrado doesn't always work with a lot of cars, but here it does seem so. Because, well, in all honesty, if you were to stand the car up, it would look like a perfect rocket ship, because up front it's sharp and at the back it's wide and stable. Like I said, it doesn't work for all automobiles, but here it actually does. Here at the back, once again, I normally put the driver's seat in my normal driving position, but this time it's in Jack's normal driving position because I wanted to show that you still have a decent amount of legroom and headroom even if a 6-foot-plus person is driving. So even if there were 2 6-foot people up front, then adults of my size back here, no problem. A third might be a bit tight because you might have to start fighting over elbow room. Toys back here include a center armrest with 2 cup holders, bottle holders on either door, which are pretty large actually. They're big enough to look like they could carry Jack's bottle, but unfortunately they're only good enough to carry my size bottles. See, bigger is not necessarily always better. There are no toys up front, there are no air vents, but there are 2 USB charging points, which is nice to keep the kids at the back entertained by making sure that the devices are always charged. Damn, Jack, you got legs like Ramon Fernandez, dude. The highlight of the Almera is definitely the front cabin. You're met with a no-frills dash broken up by leather in the middle with contrast stitching. At the center is an 8-inch infotainment display with Apple CarPlay, sadly no Android Auto. But the screen also displays the around view monitor, which works wonders for parking in tight spaces or even for squeezing into tight streets with confidence. Below that, you've got your knobs for your air, auto air mind you, and then you've also got a 12-volt socket, a USB port, and an auxiliary port as well. Now on the steering wheel, you've got your buttons for your audio controls and to move around your infotainment system. But the steering wheel itself, the material could use a little bit of work. The flat bottom I do like. Now in front of that, you've got your instrument cluster, of course. You've got an analog speedometer, but no tachometer. Instead, you've got a computer that can, well, give you a plethora of information from your trip to your fuel economy and a digital tachometer. Now, the tachometer is not necessarily the most important thing on the planet, especially if you're in a CVT. It's not as if you're going to be racing. But I've always said that an automobile with both a speedometer and a tachometer, well, it just adds a certain premium to it. I don't know, maybe it's the makaluma in me or whatnot, but it's true. The seats, I must say, are actually very, very firm, but they are nowhere near uncomfortable. They actually keep you in your place thanks to these bolsterings found here. The bolsterings, however, might be a bit much for other people, as well as these white accents found on the seats. Simply because, well, the car gives off more of an elegant, calmer vibe. These, on the other hand, give you a more youthful vibe. What isn't too much is that they've added windows here on the corners, and it helps you see outside much better because the A-pillars are actually a bit wide. So those things are absolutely great. What would be great too is if you guys continue liking our videos, and if you haven't yet, do subscribe to our channel because we love creating videos just for you guys. Now on to the biggest change from the previous model and or the other subcompact sedans out there, which is what's up front. A 1-liter 3-cylinder turbo made it to a CVT that produces 99 horses and 152 Nm of torque. Now in the city, light traffic on a Sunday, it gets 14 kilometers per liter. Now that's with the start-stop function on. I have made it clear before that I've never really been a fan of the start-stop function. However, in this case, at this particular time, I'm willing to make an exception because of 2 things. Number 1, it's actually one of the more intuitive systems out there compared to other systems that we've tried. And number 2, have you seen the gas prices out there? My God, it's ridiculous to a point that it's redonkulous. $73 inside BGC. That's nuts. Steering is actually pretty light, it feels good, and it's very responsive. My qualm is, well, with road noise. It's not the engine, it's not the wind, it's actually the tire noise. Now the wheels look great. Unfortunately, you are on, well, fortunately to some people, you are on Ecopia tires. So it kind of does echo inside the cabin. So maybe after you get done with those sets of tires, when you get the new ones, actually will sound better. I gotta be honest with you, the CVT is a little anticlimactic. Only because when you're in a rush and you jam the pedal as hard as you can, it tends to stay just in the mid-range. There's no oomph, there's no push. There's a lot of torque, yeah, you can feel that, but it just doesn't get to speed as fast as you'd want it to. Which brings me to the odd thing about it. See, this particular variant is the N Sport. And to be honest with you, they may have gotten the name wrong. I'm not saying I'm a Nissan executive and I know what they should name their automobiles, but in the terms of N Sport, not really. Because Well, if you look at the automobile, it's actually quite relaxing. It's quite plush for what it is. And nothing about it screams like you should drive it like a large sedan with a V6 engine. No, it is what it is, meaning it's a very fuel-efficient engine with great interior and tech. So don't drive it like a bat out of hell. Drive it properly. Now, in terms of testing, must be honest that it's only been me and Jack inside the automobile. So I don't know exactly how it's going to respond when you fit 12 people inside it. Why 12? Because my wife actually did one time in high school fit 12 people inside a Galant. How, why, I have no idea. But what I'm getting at is if you don't overload the automobile, even this one, it should actually be okay even with that 1-liter engine. Oh, and also at the start, we made mention how some sedans actually ride better and drive better than crossovers. Yes, I will agree to that in this sense. I'm not saying premium crossovers, I'm saying crossovers of this same price range. And given the fact that it's much lower to the ground, then it obviously handles better. While there is so much tech inside this automobile, Nissan, I've got to say, missed one little thing. Speed sensing door locks, because there aren't any. Come on, man. What this car to me represents is that it has adapted well to the times. Nissan in general has adapted well to the times. And this car basically is the epitome of that. In the sense that, number one, fuel prices are surging. Whether they planned it or not, I don't know, but this is a 1-liter that's extremely fuel efficient. Number two, times are changing where people want more tech inside an automobile. Boom, this thing's got it. And number three, outside, it doesn't look like it belongs to a teenager. It actually can belong to a young professional that wants an automobile that is capable of everything that he needs inside the city. So that alone, that trifecta, might convince you more than just once to get your butt inside this thing. The 2022 Nissan Almera starts at just over 700,000 Philippine pesos, while this VLN Sport tops out at 1,098,000 Philippine pesos. Now, one thing is certain, whether you get the top-end model or the base model manual transmission, everybody gets that beautiful 1-liter turbo. It's really smartly dressed both inside and out, and it would be a smart bet for you too to keep it as a choice or even part of your top 3 list when shopping for a new subcompact sedan. I doubt it will leave you unimpressed.